Florence is one of the most visited cities in the world. But after you've seen the Duomo, the David, and Uffizi, what's next?
If you want a deeper, more personal connection to the city, if you want to really feel its history and its soul, there are some amazing treasures that are hiding in plain sight.
In this video, we'll take you to 10 of our favorite places that will really show you not just what Florence is, but why it's important.
It's the side of Florence that you don't see in the postcards, but it'll probably stay with you longer.
Let's go! In the middle of a busy shopping street, just a little ways from the Piazza della Signoria, is one of Florence's best-kept secrets.
This is Palazzo Davanzati, a perfectly preserved Renaissance townhouse that shows what daily life was really like for a wealthy Florentine family in the 1300s. Before the Medici built their grand palaces, this is how Florence's elite lived, in a building stacked 3-4 floors high with a mix of business, family, and servants all under one roof.
It's like stepping into a time machine, and it's rarely crowded.
The first thing you'll see is a central courtyard, which was a typical feature of medieval homes, designed to let in light and air.
Upstairs, each floor gives you a glimpse into family life. There are bedrooms with painted walls, wooden furniture, chests, and even a working toilet from the 14th century.
One of the most beautiful rooms is the Parrot Room, with its faded frescoes of birds, flowers, and coats of arms. You really get a sense of how colorful the interiors of these homes once were.
The master bedroom has a wonderful story painted around on the walls. It's an allegory about fidelity and betrayal, and it serves as a warning to the inhabitants not to stray from the marriage bed. What we like about this museum is you can really take your time and absorb everything. There are no velvet ropes, no crowds, just an opportunity to have a really good sense of what daily life was like for an upper-class Renaissance family. And because it's off the main tourist radar, you may actually have the place almost to yourself.
Just like we did.
This one will stop you in your tracks, not because it's grand, but because it's deeply moving.
L'Ospedale degli Innocenti, or Hospital of the Innocents, was opened in 1445 and was the first orphanage in Europe. It was founded by the Guild of the Silk Merchants, and its purpose was to care for abandoned and orphaned babies.
And they came by the hundreds. In fact, it operated up until the 1970s. Many babies were left anonymously, with the mother putting the baby on a rotating platform so she couldn't be seen when she left the child.
Many of the mothers left their babies with half of a small token, like half a coin or a playing card or a ribbon, and they would keep the other half so that if their circumstances changed, they could come and be reunited with their child. Sadly, this did not end up happening very often.
Many of these tokens are still kept here, along with detailed records for each child. It's really a powerful exhibit that shows what the life was like for the children when they were here.
The architecture itself is important too. The orphanage was designed by Filippo Brunelleschi, who also designed the dome of the Duomo. And the orphanage is recognized as one of the first examples of early Renaissance style.
But it's really the human story that stays with you. This is Florence's history at its most personal level. We hope you've been lucky enough to visit the Mercato Centrale, the central market, with its dozens of food stalls and nice food court on the second level. But if you want a sense of how the locals go about their daily life, head over to the Sant'Ambrogio Market.
This is where real Florentines shop.
You'll see butchers and cheesemongers and pasta stalls and lots of fruits and vegetables right off the farm. And if you're lucky, you might see a nonna or two shopping for the ingredients to make their special home-cooked meal.
It's not as fancy as the Mercato Centrale, and it doesn't have all those pre-packaged items that tourists want to buy. But we love it for people watching and also just to get a sense of real life in Florence beyond the postcard views.
And be sure to check out the prices. You'll be amazed how much lower they are than grocery prices in the US.
Tucked behind the Basilica of San Lorenzo is a place that most visitors completely overlook, the Medici Chapels.
This is where generations of the Medici family were buried, a family that ruled Florence for centuries and bankrolled the Renaissance.
The Medici were bankers, patrons, popes, even royalty. And without their support, artists like Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and Botticelli might never have flourished.
And this chapel is their final resting place, and it's just as extravagant as you would expect.
You don't need to be a Medici expert to appreciate what's inside. Think soaring domes, glittering stonework, and some of Michelangelo's most powerful sculptures.
The first space you enter is the Chapel of the Princes. It's huge, dramatic, and the walls are covered in marble and precious stones, lapis lazuli, jasper, porphyry.
It was designed to impress, and it still does. But it's what's beyond the new sacristy that really takes your breath away.
This room was designed in the 1520s by Michelangelo, and it serves as a memorial to two of the lesser-known Medicis, Lorenzo, Duke of Urbino, and Giuliano, Duke of Nemours.
And instead of idealized portraits, Michelangelo sculpted them in a deeply human, reflective way. And above their tombs are pairs of allegorical figures, night and day and dawn and dusk.
You can almost feel the tension in the figures. It's heavy like time itself. It's beautiful and unsettling at the same time.
There's even a statue of the Madonna and Child that Michelangelo never finished, but somehow that makes it even more powerful.
The chapel is quiet and sacred. It's really like an oasis in the middle of the frantic city.
If you want to understand Florence, not just the art, but the people who made it happen, this is the place to go. This church doesn't look like much from the outside, and it's not on most people's radar.
But inside is one of the most important landmarks of the Renaissance, the Brancacci Chapel. It's thought of as the Sistine Chapel of the early Renaissance. It's where the painter Masaccio, through his work, really changed the course of Western art.
If you've ever wondered where Renaissance painting really started, this is the place.
This chapel is really small, but every inch is packed with meaning. The frescoes were painted in the 1420s by Masaccio and Masolino, with some help later by Filippino Lippi.
What's revolutionary here is how Masaccio initiated the movement away from the stylized forms of the Middle Ages. He pioneered the use of perspective and naturalism to create a sense of depth and spatial illusion. And he had a profound impact on all of the artists who came after him, like Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, etc. And look at the way the figures cast real shadows, and the architecture feels solid. This was cutting-edge stuff for the 15th century. Even if you've seen the big museums in Florence, this little chapel offers something more intimate and more powerful.
And it's rarely crowded, but be sure to book in advance. You need a time slot because they only allow very small groups in at the same time.
Totally worth it. This is where the Renaissance took its first big leap.
This place looks like a chapel, and in fact, it used to be one.
It was founded in 1221 by Dominican friars, and this perfume store is located in one of the oldest pharmacies in the world. The pharmacy once used medicinal herbs grown in the monastic gardens to create medicines, balms, and pomades for the monks' infirmary.
The pharmacy came into prominence in the 16th century thanks to Catherine de' Medici. In honor of her marriage to Henry II, the future king of France, the monks of Santa Maria Novella created this special scent, the Acqua della Regina, the Queen's perfume.
You can still buy that perfume with the scent unchanged. In fact, I did on our last trip to Florence.
As you walk through the rooms, you'll see soaring ceilings, marble floors, and gold leaf labels. And along the walls, there are shelves of candles and balms and perfumes made with centuries-old recipes.
And the nice thing about it is that you can sample as many of these scents as you'd like.
Even if you don't buy anything, it's worth stopping by for the scents and the setting. It's really quite unique.
If you've ever been inside the Church of Santa Croce, you were just a few steps away from one of Florence's best artisan workshops.
It's the Scuola di Cuoio, or the leather school, which was started after World War II with the goal of helping orphans learn a trade so they could support themselves. And since then, it's been training generations of Florentine leather workers.
Today, you can walk through the workshop and see the skilled artisans making wallets, belts, and gloves, etc. And you can shop for those items in the adjacent store.
But sadly, you can't expect bargain prices. The prices here are similar to what you'd pay in any quality leather store in Florence.
For centuries, this was the cathedral's workshop. Today, it's a museum that tells the story of how Florence built one of the greatest cathedrals in the world.
If you want to understand what makes the Duomo so special, this is the place to start.
On the ground floor, don't miss the Gates of Paradise. These are the massive bronze doors created for the baptistry by Lorenzo Ghiberti. These are the originals. The ones that are outside on the baptistry now are replicas.
And when you get up close, you can see biblical scenes, incredible detail, and the depth that he was able to create almost flat panels.
When you head upstairs, you'll come to a big room that's devoted to Brunelleschi's dome, the largest masonry dome in the world and an engineering miracle. You'll see the tools and the sketches he used and a huge model that he designed that convinced the people of Florence to let him build it.
And he built it without any scaffolding supports from the ground, a feat that is still not completely understood today.
And then there's Donatello's wooden sculpture of Mary Magdalene. She's not the beautiful young woman usually portrayed in paintings. Instead, she's older, hollow-eyed, and painfully human. It's haunting and unforgettable.
It's peaceful, uncrowded, and wonderfully curated. Give yourself an hour,
At least.
and it's included in any Duomo ticket that you buy.
Honestly, it's one of the best museum experiences in the city. And oh, by the way, it's air conditioned, so on a hot summer day, it's a welcome break from the heat outside.
This massive building is home to one of the most impressive sculpture collections in Florence.
It's the Bargello, a massive fortress-like palace from the 1200s that once served as a prison and later served as the headquarters for the city's police chief.
And there's a bit of drama. This is the very place where Dante was sentenced to exile in 1302, never to return to Florence, and he died in Ravenna in 1321.
Today, the building has a much better purpose. It's a museum, and here you'll find masterpieces from Donatello, Michelangelo, and many others, without the chaos and lines of the Uffizi.
It's quieter, more relaxed, and a great way to dive into Renaissance sculpture. And the courtyard is stunning.
This is Donatello's bronze statue of David. Look at the pose. It's relaxed, almost playful, and nothing like Michelangelo's version.
This David broke all the rules of sculpture at the time. It was daring, you might even say controversial, but it paved the way for the rest of the development of Renaissance sculpture.
And Michelangelo's here too. His Bacchus is wild and unbalanced, holding a bunch of grapes, almost drunk. It's one of his earliest works.
There's also a room full of glazed terracotta by the Della Robbia family. See the vivid whites and blues. It's quite a contrast with all the rest of the marble and bronze that you see in the museum.
One spot that you shouldn't miss is the Chapel of the Podestà, upstairs near the main gallery.
The frescoes here are by Giotto, or at least by his workshop, and they're some of the oldest in Florence, and you'll see a vivid Last Judgment.
And you'll even see a portrait of what is believed to be of Dante. He would have been in his 20s then, and may be the only likeness of him painted during his lifetime.
You might call it a bit of poetic justice, really. Dante was sentenced to exile in this building, and now he's forever on the wall looking over it.
If you like sculpture or even just quiet, beautiful museums, the Bargello is a must.
This next spot is right on the river around the corner from the Uffizi.
It's the Galileo Museum. And if you're even a little bit curious about science or history, this place is amazing.
Galileo Galilei was born right here in Tuscany in 1564. He didn't invent the telescope, but he was the first one to use it for serious astronomical research. And he saw things that people had never seen before.
Like the moons of Jupiter on the rings around Saturn, sunspots, and the mountains on the moon. He was one of the first people to realize that the universe was much more complex than anyone thought it was.
He openly stated that the Earth was not the center of the universe. That got him in trouble with the church, who told him he had to take it back or else.
But he never really took it back. And today he's remembered as the father of modern science.
He proved that all objects fall at the same speed, supposedly by dropping things off the famous tower in his hometown of Pisa.
However he developed it, the principle was very important to the development of physics and formed the basis of Newton's law of gravity and Einstein's theory of relativity.
The museum is home to over 1,000 instruments, from medieval globes to early medical equipment.
You'll see two of the telescopes that Galileo actually used, including the one he used to observe Jupiter's moons in 1610.
And yes, they even have one of Galileo's fingers in a glass case. You could say that that's very appropriate because he's the one that pointed to the future of science.
Oh, God. And outside, there's a fascinating sundial that not only tells the time of day and the month, but also the zodiac sign.
This museum really shows that Florence was not just important in the development of Renaissance art, but in Renaissance science as well.
Have you visited any of these places? Which ones would you like to visit?
Please leave us a comment below. We love to hear from you.
Ciao for now.
A presto!